welcome everybody back to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's the open test here in October for the 2025 PRI Hoosier 500. We are back for the fifth running of this event, formerly known as the Open Wheels 500-mile race. Now the PRI Hoosier 500, and practice now about halfway through this 2-hour test session today. An opportunity for drivers to shake a little bit of the rust off. Obviously, there's League 500s that happen between May and December, notably the Elite Racing League's Indianapolis 500, which will be held this coming week. They just got done with their day of qualifications. But for a lot of drivers, they haven't touched IMS since the month of May, and this is a great chance for folks to get back on the oval, get the muscle memory back, and start planning their preparations for the month of December and what's going to be an action-packed 2 weeks of practice, qualifications, pomp and circumstance, leading into, again, the fifth running of the PRI Hoosier 500. Well, my name is Tanner Watkins. I'm the president and co-owner of the Hoosier 500, and I want to give a quick shout-out to Gary and Luis, who just wrapped up coverage on the P1 broadcasting channel, the first hour of the open test. They did a great job over there. It was fun chatting with those guys, and hopefully we're going to get Gary on the call here in just a few minutes. Get to talk to Gary a little bit more about his background here, an Indianapolis resident, a lifelong fan of the Indianapolis 500 and IndyCar at large. Gary's got some awesome stories, and so we'll get to talk to Gary in a little while as we sort our way through this final hour of the open test. We've had, looks like 26 drivers post times. Chad Simpson leading the way right now. And it says we've got an hour and 43 minutes left in the session. We certainly do. For anybody that wants to join this hosted session on iRacing, it's open for all competitors to join, whether you're registered so far for the PRI Hoosier 500 or not. Anybody can come, hop in, make some laps at the Speedway. Do not have to be entered into the list of 80 that we're working with right now. Fortunately for Gary Goodrich, he had some connection issues through the south end of the track. End up in the wall a couple times there. So we're going to set the scene. We're going to ride around with Noah Carmichael right now, one of our friends in the NHRA media space. Does a great job covering National Hot Rod Association and drag racing at our national events. So excited to have Noah out. I'll give you a quick rundown of the standings as they stand so far. Chad Simpson leading the way. He's got the fastest lap at 230.378 miles an hour, and it's no surprise to see that man in second. That's Marco Aurelio Brazil. He is always fast at the Speedway. No different today. He's generally out there hunting a quick lap. Marco's second. Mark Murphy is third. Ryan Schold is fourth. So good to see our co-owner out there and our chief development officer get some laps in tonight. Running a Little Eagle car. Obviously, unofficially, we won't see Ryan out in December, but cool to see that car up in P4. And Sheridan Wade rounds out the top five, 229.408. And there it is. Marco goes P1, 230.545 miles an hour. And so just to kind of lay out the land, whenever we go live here on the Hoosier 500 YouTube channel during the month of December, a lot of it will be live streams that aren't tended to by a commentator. We'll certainly have the opportunity for potentially some of our more talented commentators to do stuff during the daytime if their schedule so allows. But what we'll do here on the Hoosier 500 YouTube channel, for most part, we'll be providing all the coverage in between the prime times that PRI, that P1 Broadcasting, that the Elite Racing Network will cover our events throughout the month of December. So that'll be most of the stuff that happens during the daytime. The live streams will still be up, and we'll still cover practice and qualifications outside of the primetime hours. That'll all happen here on the Hoosier 500 YouTube channel. We'll have live timing and scoring available also at thehoosier500.com. So this will be a little bit more of a down and dirty broadcast that's not as polished, but certainly still provides value in ensuring that every second of the 2025 PRI Hoosier 500 is covered live in some shape or fashion. Well, I mentioned that we'd be bringing in some special guests right before they've got another broadcast at the top of the hour. But Gary Godso and Luis Gonzalez just wrapped up our opening hour coverage of today's PRI Hoosier 500 Open Test, and we're happy to bring them back in the booth for just a little short period of time. How you doing, fellas?
I don't know how special I am, but Lewis is pretty special.
Yes, sir. I really copy the note here.
Well, as I kind of opened up the show, Marco Brazil popped off at 230.545 and went to the top of the charts, which is not entirely surprising.
No.
So that's where we stand currently with the timing charts. I did lay out a little bit and wanted to give an opportunity for both of you guys, as time allows. Whenever you guys need to go and do your own broadcast at the top of the hour, feel free to say, hey, we got other stuff to do. But I did tease a little bit. You know, Gary, you and I got to sit down and have lunch a few weeks ago. You shared some awesome stories about your life growing up in Indianapolis, and that's really important to me as we build out the Hoosier 500 and connecting people that love the sport, that have a background in Indianapolis and have made their mark and spent time in the Circle City loving the Indy 500. Could you just share, you know, as you move into this role as one of the voices of the 500 at this event, share a little bit your background, where the passion of the 500 comes from, and why you decided to get into sim racing broadcasting as well?
Oh, man. We could be here all hour for that. I think I was talking to my dad about this, and I think maybe my earliest at the Speedway, I was maybe 3 years old. And his story that he tells me about being at the Speedway. So this would have been 77, 78, 77. So probably the race that Foyt won us fourth. I would have been 3 at that race for sure. I wasn't at the race, but I went to practice. Go back and look. I forget who Rutherford was driving for that time, but Rutherford is already at least a one-time Indy 5, two-time. He's a two-time Indy 500 champion at that point. He won in 74 and then won in 76. And there's a group of reporters around him just outside of Gasoline Alley. That's how I got in. I was so close because kids for the longest time and still aren't allowed for the most part in the Gasoline Alley. And I'm up on my dad's shoulders, and Dad gets close to seeing the reporters all talking to Johnny Rutherford. And Johnny Rutherford's talking to the reporters. He looks up and sees me on my dad's shoulders, and he stops the interviews cold. Just stops, just not talking at all. He looks up and waves at me and says, "How you doing, youngin'? Hi, youngin'." And my dad, that was a memory that lasted with my dad that he told me about. And I have no memory of, but to be addressed by Johnny Rutherford, now a 3-time Indianapolis 500 champion, former IndyCar champion and all that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. So that's one of my earliest memories. My dad has told me about the Speedway. I remember going into the track, just really having no clue what was going on, just loud cars and being pulled out of school. And it was really cool to be pulled out of school by your dad to go watch practice of race cars at the track. After a while, you didn't begin to understand the importance of you began to really understand the more importance of the month of May and everything leading up to it. I remember my parents always just driving us downtown to the 500 Festival Parade and watching all the floats. And being part of Indianapolis, I thought every city had a parade like this. Not every city has a parade on caliber of, Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade or, some of the New Year's Day Parade that you see here coming up in the holiday season. But we have one here in Indianapolis with all the bands and the pomp and circumstance. And then you don't really know the magnitude of the race until you actually go to your first race. You could watch it on TV, and it doesn't always give you the feel. You could listen to it on the radio. You could kind of hear the electricity, but it doesn't give you the feeling of the electricity. But walking into this place for your very first race, seeing every single one of these stands with a human being live sitting in it, all waiting for the same thing that you are, the green flag and the start of that. But sometimes it's the whole leading up to that, just the back home again, the national anthem, the flyover, America the Beautiful. Even the priest coming out, the Catholic priest and the head of the Archbishop of the Archdiocese of Indianapolis comes out and he gives the Catholic blessing before the race. Even all that stuff, even at my older age here, when I go to all that stuff, if you don't have a heartbeat if it doesn't get you excited and it doesn't somehow bring a tear to your eye and all that stuff. And then finally, the power of listening to all the cars come to life and making those first laps. And when they used to have methanol, you could smell the methanol. That was so cool. You could smell the methanol. And then the green flag and the roar and hearing the whole crowd at once in unison cheer. And then even during the race, some of those electric moments, Tony Kanaan takes the lead. Everybody stands up. Connor Daly takes the lead. Everybody stand up and you. Ed Carpenter. When Elio Castroneves was going for number 4, just listening to the crowd. And you hear that crowd sound effects in like video games and stuff. And you hear that for real. But you're at the race and it's for real. And everything is organic and just visceral. You don't understand what it's like, not, when you watch it on TV. But to be in the stands and to be there, that's the feeling, that's the passion, that's everything I have a love for the Indy 500. And then, there's a whole sport of IndyCar that I just love as well, and everything around it, the history, the drivers, and all of that. But the Indy 500, if you say that Daytona 500 is better, I'm going to debate you till you're blue in the face. If you say Monaco's better, I'm just going to laugh at you in the face. The Indy 500 is the race, period. And the fact that we get to do this in a simulation aspect and put on the same look and feel, it's got to be really special for not just us broadcasting, but you guys planning this and the 33 that make the field. Yeah, the 33 that make the field got to feel something special about making this particular event. And there you go. I'm done talking. I went on forever, but that's just the passion and everything that I feel about this place because I've just kind of grown up with it, and it's just been part of. I don't know any different, really. I don't know any different. I just know about Indianapolis.
Well, and I think that lays it out perfectly. And also, if you're the Oregon Duck, don't come at the Indianapolis 500. I think we saw that all play out yesterday as well.
I think the Oregon Duck owes us a visit now, actually.
I think that would actually be great. That would be a nice olive branch. Just get the Oregon Duck to the greatest spectacle in May. I think that would patch things up a little bit, in my opinion. It's a good recommendation. Luis, I'd like to hear from you as well. Really, what introduced you to open wheel racing? How far back does that first core memory go? And then, how did you get into sim racing? Where did that pop up? For me, I got onto iRacing in full transparency as a NASCAR fan, and I was going down I know, right? I shudder at that thought now, but I was going down the street stock route and getting into late models and all that stuff. And after about 3 months, I got in the IndyCar for the first time, and all that changed. I mean, I never touched the heavy cars any longer after that. But interested to hear, how that played out for you and what led you to this point, because we're really excited to have you part of the Hoosier 500 family.
I'm really excited to be here. To be honest, I really didn't figure it out. I didn't put in my mind like, oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. No, I do it because I want to do something else. I have my stuff over there. I'm really busy in my job, and then at some point I don't want to race because I'm pretty tired of my mind. And then I found this way to still around iRacing. I always compare IndyCar, and because my first love was Formula One, so I started watching Formula One 96, 97 with Schumacher, Jacques Villeneuve, Damon Hill, Hakkinen, Schumacher again, and then to now. And then I stopped it to watch it after Alonso left Ferrari in 2010. No, 2010 was there. 13 or 14 and something like that, and then I figured out like Formula One is not the same until I still have some notions about IndyCar, IRL. Eliseo Salazar, he was in Formula One in the 80s. He left, then came back to he came to USA to race in IMSA, the World Sport Car Championship or something like that with Ferrari. He won with Ferrari in US in Indianapolis Race Park, Raceway actually in Indianapolis also too. It was over there in IRL. Then he jumped into IndyCar, and then he raced in '95, and he decided to go to IRL because who knows. And funny thing, he yesterday on 97, 11 October, October 11, in 97, he won the only one race in Las Vegas night. He was super late. Chile broadcast. I'm from Chile actually, so the Chilean broadcasting, they broadcasting the race very late, at 1 or something like that a.m. in the morning. He won the race. It was like wow, somebody finally won something. I know in Formula One he won a point or something like that, but with a super bad car and with the ITS or the Ram, something like that, it was really bad car. But he won a point because the other cars on front, they start to retire, and he won a race. So he won a point or 2 points in Imola or in Sambor also too. But then in 97, 98, he almost died in 97 in World Diesel War. And Dover also too almost died too for second time. In 97 came back for Indy 500 with 2 broken legs, hips of the 2. The best season for him was in 2000 when I really was super focused on him in 2000, 2001. And then he left in 2002 because AJ4 didn't like it anymore. So he left and then gone. So it's like wow, but they still keep going with Indianapolis. Oh, sorry, IndyCar. Because I have a cable in my home. I keep watching the car championship, the FedEx, and also the IRL, and then it's still going and keep going until I left because I don't have more cable in my home. So I tried to find it. I tried to find it on internet, but I couldn't. And then I found this way to stop to do the war games in my computer to do Formula One. And then I found iRacing in that time because I don't have the money. I said, well, whatever. And when I came to Canada, one day I saw this Spanish streaming racing with Skip Barber, and it was so funny. I said, "Oh, it's so funny." I bought a laptop, 70-inch laptop. I have my first G27 or 29, sorry. And with that, I started racing and Skip Barber, and then of course, I thought NASCAR could be good, but it wasn't. And then I raced in IndyCar. I was a super nice. In the end of the DW2 is gone. I raced only maybe one practice, and then I have to buy the new Dallara ER18. So in there with that, it's kind of surprised when I tell this, but it's I finished second on one laptop 70 screen, racing in my home, racing in New Zealand, racing in Chile. I took my stuff and my luggage from Canada to Chile, and then I came back to Canada. I racing in the chair, and then I went to New Zealand for 1 year over there in the same laptop. So it was a really surprise how I racing in that, and now I have this 32 screen ultra wide. It's like my God, I cannot do anymore. And I always put them in my table about Henry Bennett. Henry Bennett was the guy. I tried to beat him and he couldn't. On behind to me was Demerit, came Adriano Pinheiro, and many others. Maybe my big achievement was win one of the top split with all of these monsters behind to me. I remember came Robert Maleska on my back, tried to put me in 4Y. I blocked him, and I saw on the screen on the back, I see all these cars jumping around because when I did that, somebody's brake on the back, and the race is over. So I won the race. I think so it was a 4K something, but it's super like a satisfied, like oh my God, I finally win a top split. And then I figured out it's not good for me still counting every Monday at 7:15 or 8:15 in summer, all this stuff. So I decided to don't racing. Actually, I'm still racing, but it's not like focus on the championship. It's really exciting. It's really stressful. I really take my hat in all of these guys like Clendy, Adriano, Seb Alexander, and Mark Murphy also too won the championship about how the stress in every single week about the count and what about this, what about that. So now this is community. Before we don't have. I don't know if they have it or not. I don't know, but I didn't get involved. But that's what I started. I started from one guy came from Chile to USA, and then he left. I still going, and then I have this iRacing, this thing miracle to make me like important. Actually, I went to the other leagues. My mom watching me for internet, like, oh, that's nice. I cheer it for you. I started to talk in Spanish when I won maybe 2 races in that league, and he's talking in Spanish and tried to make the happy hair, and yeah, even with all the people. So I don't know. It's a really a mix of stuff. I don't like a Gary. They have at least Indianapolis close. Me, I have an exhibition place over here in Toronto, and like Gary said, the smell of the ethanol, all that stuff, I never feel in my life when I went 2 times on the exhibition place to watching the race and take a picture with Castroneves, with James Hinchcliffe, with Canapino also too at that time. Very kind of like stopped with me and said, "Hey, I'm from Chile, Oh yeah, let's take a picture." He stopped it. I remember Castroneves, he was in the scooter. He was running because he's just running over there. He running with me, and we're gonna take a picture. I said, okay. I just running next to him and take a picture, and it was really nice to him. Unfortunately, my man said, "You're very unlucky for him." He said, "Why?" Because he's retired the car. And it's true because actually that day he retired the car. I think he have a crash in the last corner or something like that. It was like and also Canapino too. So it was not really funny because for these two guys I took a
You're
picture.
bad luck,
were
man.
retired. Actually, very bad luck. But I took the picture with Hinchcliffe after the race, so he got the third or second on that race on 2017 or something like that. But yeah, that's I started, and that's when I get involved with all of this the stuff. I got it with racing together in the Lionheart, and then now we partnered together in this mega event.
Well, PSA to any IndyCar drivers that see Luis coming: hold your pictures until after the race, and everybody will be okay.
Run away.
Well, I really appreciate you guys giving some insight to your backgrounds. I think it's really helpful for everybody. I think you're pretty well known in the community at this point, but for anybody that doesn't know, or people that might be finding us from non-traditional means and outside the sim racing world, certainly want to give you guys that forum to talk about what's made an impact in your life from a motorsports perspective. And again, we're really excited to have you. Before I let you guys go, I want to give you guys a chance to give a little promo to the Elite Racing 500 that's coming up on Thursday. Chad Frankenfield does a great job with that event. It's one of the long-standing leagues now in the iRacing IndyCar community. I mean, we've seen a lot come and go in the time since Elite's been founded, and Chad's really built that up. As we talk about this event in particular, maybe just handicap the favorites. I know Little League Racing, who's going to have a contingent here at the Hoosier 500, they've done a really good job through qualifications, and they sit pretty on the grid. What are you guys looking forward to, and what are you going to keep your eyes on for Thursday night?
Go ahead, Lewis. Start.
Yeah, like you said, from September 2019, they started all this stuff. So I think the main stuff is Chris Albrecht got the pole. Very surprised because it was for nothing. We thought it was he didn't get the pole, and he got the pole. And for my side, it's like a slap in my face, like a don't count me until the end I cross the line. So he did a good job in that. To be honest, the main thing is that maybe if Adriano win the race, it's something that he want to. He won the pole by 2 times on the Indy 500 and still don't get it. Even at Chad, after many races, he did won one, and he won for Adriano Pinheiro in the last corner, like 1 year ago. So I think the main story about maybe Adriano can win the championship if it's the other contender came down. So it's really important about this race for Adriano because we are we are 3 to go without counting Indy 500 this next Thursday. Who knows? He can count. He can become a champion with 3 races to go. Also, is the Triple Crown, the P1 Broadcasting Triple Crown, because he won in Pocono by over Brandon Tosk. He won the pole that day. So
He started 33rd. Remember, he started 33rd in that Pocono race.
Yeah, you're right. So it's like you mentioned that this is really one of the, maybe even one is just the only one to win that for 31st. So it's really important for him, and he have the best chance. I know now he started for 12, but who knows? I already put a lot of on Adriano because I want to, because of my friend. I already raced with him. It's very kind for me to finally get that, and that's the thing. But in another way is Chris Albrecht, and he have a lot of with Ryan Schultz in close to him. So it's gonna be a good race, and I hope everyone can watch it because it's gonna be the last before this mega event, the PRI Hoosier 500.
Yeah, I was. I say that there's other leagues out there, the Elites, Velocity Online Racing, not very many that have a League 500 that carries weight. There's some other ones out there that not our IndyCar centric, but they put on a big event, and they think they have a big event, but the big events really are the fixed and open Indy 500s, the elite Indy 500, Velocity Online Racing, their Indy 500. That's really about it in terms of the big 500s out here. And of course, the PRI Hoosier 500 is going to be the benchmark to all that. But you look at the storylines going into the Elite Racing League. Chris Albrecht getting the pole. It's been an awesome week for him. It started last Sunday with a win in the Dark Horse Racing League, their DW12 series at Indianapolis. And then later in that week, he wins the pole. Not just wins the pole, but barely wins the pole. His speed was 227. His 4-lap average was 227.314. He had to beat out one of the Little Eagle guys, Jordan Owens, on his second ever front row appearance. Jordan was 227.313. Okay, we said it again, 227.314 to 227.313. So that's a thousandth of a mile per hour average over 4 laps. Couple inches maybe. That's right. Maybe what it was over a period of a 10-mile run. 4 laps, 10 miles. That's how close that pole position was. Chad coming back. He won the race a year ago. So the Elite Racing League separates their calendars into an A calendar and a B calendar. So they have 2 seasons a year. Chad won the race last October for his first maiden win. He was very much like Tony Kanaan. 13 starts. Just always showing up, getting up there, but never getting the milk. He finally got the milk. We got another winner in the lineup with R.C. Anderson, real-life Indy 500, not a winner, but a real-life Indy 500 participant. So they're in the lineup. And those are 2 storylines to watch. But I agree 100% with Lewis. The storyline going into this race should be Adriano Pinheiro. And for Pinheiro, he hasn't had the Andretti level luck. That is like dreadful level luck. He's got more like Dixon level luck, where you're around, something happens, you don't win, but you're around all day. And that's kind of the Dixon level luck. I think, really, I mean,
both are
Adriano,
painful, by the way.
all the same. You know, not quite J.R. Hildebrandt level, but the Dixon ones were so painful, yes. So Adriano was in the Fast 12. He made the Fast 12, and he chose not to qualify. And for the first time in a very long time, kind of like a Rena's VK type, not on the front row for the first time in a very long time, he's back in row 4, and this time he comes to the show with teammates. He hasn't come to the show with teammates before, so he's coming to the show with teammates, one of which is Kyle Klindworth. Clindy won his first race this year in the Elite Racing League, but he won 2 of the 4 top split fixed 500s in May. And on the other 2 he didn't win, he was on the podium. And in the 4 races he competed in, he completed all 800 laps. So you can't rule out Clindy helping out Adriano. I think Clindy will definitely be a rear gunner for Adriano. And Adriano also has Hunter Ingrave in the lineup. And Hunter is a winner this season at Road America. So he's got 2 proven teammates in the Elite Racing League and other leagues that are going to help him this time. And maybe with the way that he's decided that he's going to start, I'm going to just do 12. And I'm going to work my way up through the field, because he started 33rd at Pocono, worked his way up through the field, won that race. That race had 39 cars in it. So he won from 33rd starting position. Also last year, the race went caution-free. And the winner was Hamilton Akaweze, who won from 28th. So I think he learned from maybe a couple situations that I don't need to start up front in order to do well. So I suspect that the story is it's going to be Adriano, and Adriano will eventually get that monkey off his back. And I would really like to be the one that calls the race when he gets the monkey off his back. I know Lewis wants to be there as well. And I think those are the 3 big stories. We got the pole sitter, who's had himself an awesome week and everything leading up to it. We got the repeat winners. And then, of course, the big thing is Adriano. He's done everything else in the Elite Racing League. 3-time champion. Won the last 2 times. Career leader in wins. I mean, he would very much like to swap positions with Helio Castroneves. Castroneves won 4 Indy 500s, never an IndyCar championship. But there's also other guys out there that maybe one IndyCar championship and one 500, they could check off both boxes. But Castro Evers could never check off. It's the same thing. It's the opposite thing for Pinheiro. Where can I check that box off? And is he always going to be like a Seb Bourdais, or does he eventually become like a Will Power? And I think he wants to be like a Will Power. And so that is, I think, what we look forward to coming this Thursday, 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time, over on Elite Racing Network.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys laying it out. Obviously, I think it's one of the most exciting races of the fall. Again, the Elite Racing League Indianapolis 500, a long-standing event. Do you guys know what running is this? Is this the 15th? Is that correct?
15th running. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's an awesome event. Again, Chad does a fantastic job. Really looking forward to tuning in and watching that with you guys on Thursday night. Any parting shouts as you guys head out to your broadcast at 8 p.m. tonight?
Go ahead, Lewis.
Oh, we have a body from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. It's gonna be 134 laps. So could be Kyle Clendor could be make the championship clinch. But who knows? I already said whatever could have happened in one race. So it's going to be really interesting. We don't know. I think it's a day race for sure. If it's night, it's going to be a pack race for sure. Because Vegas is like that, like an IRL style. But it's going to be really, really excited to have this race because it's really finally, I don't want to say this, but in my opinion, thank you to Body to have Las Vegas once again in one league, because many others is talking about something about the Las Vegas, and this really we cannot take it off this special circuit, especially for me, and especially also for Richie Hearn, because it's one of only one race he won in '97. It was the only race we don't know until now won by lap, because it was a long race. So I don't know what's happening in USA. They decided to cut for some place.
The network. Yeah, they couldn't watch.
Yes.
There was so many cautions. Yeah.
So we have this one at 8 p.m. soon in 20 minutes. So just in P1 broadcasting.
Yeah, shout outs. Other than P1 Broadcasting, it's at P1 Broadcasting over on YouTube, at P1 Broadcasting on Twitter or X. We're actually P1 Broadcasting. Cool thing, when I found the name, I actually, it's like, oh crap, that name's available on every social, and I don't have to put a 1 or something after it.
Which is
so
very
P1
helpful.
Broadcast. I know, P1 Broadcasting on X, Facebook, Instagram. We are on Twitch, but I don't do too much over there. But the big thing is obviously on YouTube and X, and Lewis takes care of us over on X. But race here in about 15 minutes. But to you guys and the Hoosier 500 guys and Arjuna and all the open wheel guys that are helping put this on. I know that we still have a lot more work to do and many more days before we get there. But thanks for thinking of us. Thanks for bringing us on and making us a part of this. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be, a big opportunity. It's going to be a lot of eyeballs, not just on your product, but listening to our voices and be the soundtrack of it. And that's an awfully big responsibility. And it's my honor to kind of be here and be part of it. And it's good that I can bring some of our friends at P1 along with Andrew Wood and Lewis, to have them part of it as well. And I just shout out to you guys for, when it came time to, make a decision on what you wanted to do, that you look to us because, we do have a big passion in this sport. And I'm glad you guys share that passion with us, that we got a chance to apply our passion to something that you obviously are rebirthing and bringing into this world.
Awesome. No, we share completely, and we feel fortunate to have you guys as really professionals in the space join us. So thanks again to both you, Gary, and Lewis as well for joining. Best of luck to your broadcast this evening. Best of luck to the coverage of the Elite 500 on Thursday, and we'll be seeing you on December 1st.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
See you there.
Thank you, gentlemen. That's the leaders of P1 Broadcasting. They're about to go do their best work over and cover the votive race at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We've got just about 15 minutes left on our broadcast here on the Hoosier 500 YouTube channel. We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we'll break down the month of December. No longer the Open Wheels 500, no longer running in November. We've moved the Hoosier 500 to December. We'll cover that when we get back. You're watching the PRI Hoosier 500 October Open Test live on the Hoosier 500 YouTube. Just about 15 minutes left in our coverage of the Open Test here. October racing at the PRI Hoosier 500. Just over 45 days to opening day on Monday, December the 1st, the first day of on-track activity. It's Acres Lawn Services opening day at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Just about an hour left in the test session. So if anybody wants to get in some laps after our broadcast window closes up, you'll be able to do so. This session is open for anybody to join on iRacing. Just to give you a quick rundown, Marco Brazil does lead the way still, 230.58 mile per hour lap. Fastest laps on the board here. Chad Simpson is the only other driver that cracked the 230 mark so far this evening. Mark Murphy got close, 229.882. Hoosier 500 co-owner Ryan Schold got out and made some laps for fun. 229.530 miles per hour. Sheridan Wade rounds out the top five at 229.408. Casey Povolones, Ty Quilla, AJ Pritchett, Ellie Henrique, and Colin Heil round out the top 10. Been 27 cars make laps so far at the Speedway this evening. It all builds to the PRI Hoosier 500, the world's greatest sim race. Sunday, December 14th. Pre-race coverage starts at 11 a.m. It'll be on the PRI Facebook and YouTube channels. Just announced on Friday that Jim Cornelison, the man who performs back home again in Indiana at the Indianapolis 500 in real life, he'll be there to do it at the Hoosier 500 as well. So very excited to have Jim joining us. He will bookend what is really an awesome lineup of pre-race ceremonies that we've got coming together. We'll have announcements for God Bless America and the National Anthem singer probably closer to the race itself. We'll get into the month of December to announce those. But a really, really cool lineup that honors the pomp and circumstance of the Indianapolis 500 and doing things the right way. We really want to make pre-race feel like it's something special, something different than just another sim race and lining up on the grid and making laps. This is different. This is the Hoosier 500, and we're proud of all the work that's gone into really building out what's going to be an awesome race day. For a few talking points, those of you that maybe don't know a bunch about the Hoosier 500 but are tuned in tonight, what makes this event unique perhaps from the iRacing 500 per se, we do have a 3-wide start in this race. Unfortunately, iRacing's own race control limitations don't allow them to put on a 3-wide start at the beginning of their Indianapolis 500s in May. So we do have that here. I love qualifications weekend. I think our qualifying format is as exciting as any out there, and it's really a blend of what we have today, as well as a nod to Indy 500 qualifyings of the past. I say that because we've got multiple qualifying attempts. So you can make 3 attempts, where back in the day, once you posted a time, that was your time for that car, and you had to stand on that time. There were no additional attempts. So you do get multiple attempts at our race, but you're limited to just 3. And each time you go out, that attempt is the previous attempt is withdrawn. I think it adds a lot of nice, authentic drama to the event. And when you've got, when we expect to be well over 100 entries vying for 33 spots, both pole day and the fight for pole and bump day as we get to the end of the day on Sunday, December 7th, I think it's going to add a lot of drama for guys trying to climb up the grid, trying to make it into the field of 33. There's no, fast lane or kind of secondary lane like they have today. It's just one line, and you don't withdraw your time once you get in line. You withdraw your time once you hit the track. But we're really excited. Qualifying weekend, again, it's one of my favorite parts of the event. Everything that comes with, especially the smaller teams and drivers trying to make the race, seeing who finds their way in that field of 33 is pretty exciting. And, hopefully there's a lot of people at tonight's open test that'll be battling and challenging to make it into the field of 33 come December. I know there's a handful of folks here that are already registered and on the entry list for our race coming up in just about a month and a half, but I see there's a lot of folks and names that I don't quite recognize that hopefully will make their way onto the entry list by the time registration closes on November 3rd. So just to reiterate, the entry period is open now for everybody that wants to join and be a part of the event in December. You can go to thehoosier500.com, and there's a big button. It's on the front page to find your way to the entry form. There's no fee to enter. The only criteria you got to meet, you have to have a C4.0 oval safety rating. And once you process your entry and our competitive team has a chance to take a look at it, we'll go through the approval process, get you all ready for the month of December. And I think this is a great time. Move on over to that December schedule. We kick things off with Acres Lawn Services opening week. Practice starts on Monday, December the 1st. We'll practice each day throughout that week, Tuesday, Wednesday. Qualifying draw is on Thursday. And of course, Fast Friday on Friday, December 5th. So you see the ERN and the P1 Broadcasting logos there. We'll have coverage of primetime action at the Speedway from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time each evening. So that's each night, December 1st through the 5th. All that's preceded by the live stream right here on the Hoosier 500 YouTube channel that'll run all day long. So we'll have coverage throughout the day. Today at the 500 at night, that'll be a more produced show that's got a little extra pop to it. Excited to have Gary and Lewis and Andrew Wood join us for those segments. December 6th and the 7th, same thing applies. We'll cover qualifications through the daytime hours on the Hoosier 500 YouTube. Final hour coverage, prime time between 7 and 8 p.m. will be shown live on the PRI Facebook and YouTube channels. The Monday after practice on the Elite Racing Network on December 8th leads into Shakedown Saturday on December 13th, featuring the final practice for the PRI Hoosier 500, the Veterans 100 support race, which is an ode to the Freedom 100, as well as the pit stop competition. That'll all happen on P1 Broadcasting on December 13th, and that leads us to race day, Sunday, December 14th, on the PRI Facebook and YouTube channels. Pre-race ceremonies begin at 11 a.m., and we'll have a special early pre-race from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. leading into that PRI coverage right here on the Hoosier 500 YouTube channel. Get you set for the day ahead and wrap up what is sure to be an awesome month of December here at the Speedway. Hopefully not much of that during the race itself. We've been fortunate to have some really clean races throughout the years here at the Hoosier 500. And who's going to win this year? Hugo Olsen, not sure he'll make it on the entry list, but he is our only two-time winner of the event. Phil Kraus will try to go back-to-back, and he'll put his best foot forward as he is already on the entry list. We'll have our defending champion there, and he'll run that number 1, which designates last year's winner in the field. Just 5 minutes left in our broadcast here. We'll go nonstop one more time. We'll bring it back in just a few moments. Wrap up tonight's Hoosier 500 Open Test coverage. Get you set for the month of December. "52 minutes remain at Indianapolis for tonight's open test. Noah Carmichael, he has been pouring in laps tonight. Good to see him out putting in 40 laps to this point. That's the second most on the board. Third most. Seb Alexander and Chad Simpson both with 45 each. Noah with 40 in the bank. Ty Quilla with 39. Good to see a bunch of activity tonight. Kind of a fun night to shake off the rust. Both for the racers and the commentators. I haven't been on the mic since 2020, so excited to do a little bit of work and a little bit of prep as we iron out some of the kinks before December comes along. Let's ride on board with Noah as he works through a lap at Indianapolis. Haven't done that yet tonight. Also a good time. We haven't talked about it yet, but the weather conditions right now, 76-degree air temp. That's a couple degrees cooler than default weather conditions. I would expect we're closer to the 78-degree range for qualifying, but forecasts not quite solidified yet. Again, for the most part, we expect qualifications weekend very close to default weather. This is a little cooler, so you see the speeds from Marco Aurelio Brazil, Chad Simpson, both up over 230. I would expect it's not out of the realm of possibility that we get speeds in the 230 range when it comes to qualifications in December, but I would expect the conditions, the track temperature to be a little bit more difficult to deal with. You see 116 degrees track temp right now. When that air temp gets around 77, 78, you're up over 120 degrees track temperature, and it certainly makes a difference. So before we wrap things up here, just want to give a quick shout out to our partners, obviously the performance racing industry, PRI, for sponsoring the Hoosier 500 this year. Their commitment to sim racing at large has been significant. You know, we've got an awesome article that's going to be coming out in the coming days that highlights a lot of the sweet things that they're doing in the sim racing space. Again, the investment that Michael Good and Jim Liao put into not just our event and the value that they see in it, but also sim racing as a whole and its place in the motorsports industry. Definitely commendable, and anybody that's a fan of sim racing should be a fan of PRI and the work that they're doing there. Also, a special shout out to Cusick Morgan Motorsports and Visitor Watch Company, premier partners in helping promote the PRI Hoosier 500. Again, special thanks to Gary Godso and Luis Gonzalez for joining us on the call tonight. They had the first hour of tonight's 2-hour open test over on P1 Broadcasting, and they'll be your leading voices throughout the month of December as they call the action on P1 as well as the Elite Racing Network and the channels of PRI across Facebook and YouTube. Well, for Tanner Watkins and everybody here at the PRI Hoosier 500 Open Test, there's Marco Brazil topping the chart once again and moving that mark just a little bit further out with a 230.620 mile an hour lap. Good to see a lot of great participation this evening. We want to say thank you for joining us. This is just the beginning. We set the stage for what's going to be an awesome month of December at the PRI Hoosier 500. Look forward to seeing you all soon. Just 45 days to opening day. We'll get things started with Acres Lawn Service opening day on December 1st. Takes us all the way through to qualifications weekend, December 6th and the 7th. And all builds to race day. Sunday, December the 14th, live on the PRI Facebook and YouTube channels, starting at 11 a.m. We will see you all soon from Indianapolis. Have a great night, everybody.